If your team's been looking at cloud VPN, secure access, that kind of technology, then definitely stick around. I've got an interesting guest today who's come over, also here in New York City. And we're going to talk about these topics, get into some tech, a little bit of the background of the company, and I think you'll learn quite a bit. So I hope you stick around for the discussion. Hi, this is Ed Amoroso from Tag Cyber. I want to welcome you. I'm here with a friend of mine, Amit Bareket, who is the founder and CEO over at Perimeter 81. He came over from 18th Street, New York City to visit us today. I'm going to ask Amit about the company, about his background, about the technology related to zero trust, to network access, to secure access, to replacing your VPN with something better. So I think you're in the right place if those technologies are of interest to you. So Amit, welcome to our discussion.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here today and excited for our conversation.
Good. Hey, why don't you give us the elevator speech on the company? Tell us about Perimeter 81.
So Perimeter 81, in short, we are building the new firewall. Today, the open internet is the new corporate network, as employees are working outside the offices and resources are moving to the cloud. And the question is how to build a secure corporate network over the internet. And companies have been utilizing legacy hardware and legacy firewalls that exist in the office, or VPNs that exist in the office, to backhaul all the traffic in to have secure connection, but it doesn't work any longer because the offices are empty.
Right.
So that is the problem that we are attending. It's basically making a revolution, not evolution, in the way companies are consuming network security, and 5G and fiber are enabling it.
It is amazing. Well, like my company, we don't have a firewall, right? I mean, it's like in the old days, that would be the first thing you'd do. But now the architectures have shifted. Like it's so much virtual and software defined. So.
Yeah, the open internet is the new corporate network now. Yeah. If you as a company are on the open internet with no internet security or network security solution, or without a firewall, that you're very vulnerable. So it's really a shift. There was a shift in the way we work. Companies needed to continue and operate. Business always comes first, right? Mm-hmm. So they have risked themselves by opening up their networks and moving to the open internet without implementing a proper network security tools. And that is what we are here to solve. So we've built a network that exists in the cloud edge, around 40 different POPs, equipment that we ship to our R&D center in Tel Aviv. Mm-hmm. We install them, then we ship back to different data centers that are hosted by different carriers all around the globe. We host it just like renting an apartment, but putting on your own servers. And then developing our software, which is, you can think about distributed firewall, that instead of an appliance-based firewall that we install in the office, exists in our cloud edge. We build the Office 365 for cybersecurity or network security.
That's a good metaphor. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's good.
So no matter where you are, as an employee, you open your laptop, you're behind that secure network that is completely encrypted over the internet, all as a software solution, no hardware involved.
So I'm going to ask you a little bit about some of the details of how that works. But let's go back. How'd you get into this? What's your personal background?
So my personal background, although I live today in the US, I born and raised in Israel, served in the elite technology unit in the Israeli Defense Force. After that, I studied computer science at Tel Aviv University, where I've met my co-founder, Sagi Gidali. I went to work for IBM, a large company everybody knows, right? Sagi went to work for Siemens, a large company that everybody knows. And at some point, we decided to leave our corporate jobs in order to start something ourselves. We co-founded a company that we bootstrapped, which named Safer VPN, which was a consumer VPN company. Basically securing consumers while they are roaming and on public Wi-Fi's. We had issued a unique patent in regards to how to secure roaming devices over public Wi-Fi's. And because of that angle, businesses started to come to us. Like, although we were a consumer solution, Can I utilize it for my business?
Right.
And we decided, we understood that we have something here. So we decided to pivot and basically develop Perimeter 81, a solution for businesses. We sold that company to J2 Global, public company in the States, and started a new journey in 2018.
It's funny, the consumer business difference has it's sort of blurred lately. Like your life as a consumer, and your life as a remote worker, and your life as a mom or dad, and your life as a consultant. It's all very similar. So I would imagine going from Safer VPN to Perimeter 81, probably a lot of architectural similarities in the way you deliver.
It's very interesting what you're saying, because that's what drove us to do Perimeter 81.
Yeah.
Consumers, that our customers came to us, hey, it's a good solution. Can I use it for my business?
Right.
Let me introduce you to my IT manager or my CISO, which is basically a bit confusing, right? But that's basically what opened our door, and this is something that we are always, I am personally, and also Sagi and the entire company, putting a lot of emphasis on relentless customer feedback and iteration. Listen to the market and develop that product market fit, right?
That's how Amazon got big, right?
That Amazon was
relentless customer, right?
Yeah.
Good. That's the right idea.
Today we have 2,800 business customers, which gives us a range of point of views, and we run networks every day for 2,800 customers, small, big, and large.
Right.
And we have about maybe 400 feature requests and a very clear understanding how the product needs to develop. But that's what we like to do, is to really focusing on building a great product and focusing on to work with bringing the future to today's world.
That's awesome. I want to ask you about Edge, because that's for people watching, and they hear, okay, I'm behind an edge. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean as an individual, or as a branch office, or as a supplier, sort of remote partner, third party? Like, what are the cases there where they're doing remote access, and what does that edge mean?
I'll explain where edge is coming from. Today, the internet, the infrastructure is developed and relatively very matured. 5G is coming to age, fiber is available, everyone has a fast internet, right? The only thing that you cannot compete with is latency. What does it mean? If I'm in, let's say, Europe, right, London, and I work with servers in the US, although I have a fast internet, still there is a latency of, let's say, 150 to 100 milliseconds because of the distance.
But the internet wasn't designed to optimize that, right?
So there was, like, for example, companies like Amazon you mentioned, right, that started data centers in multiple places around the globe, and I'm, as a company, can go to Amazon the US, right, and create my data servers and whatever I want, right? It exists there, and then all the services that I consumed through that data center. There is a relatively large latency, and once you basically like to enhance user experience, make it fast, make it accessible, make it reacting very quickly, specifically when we deal with security, if you want to, as a customer, if you are in the UK and you browse to the BBC, right, you don't want all your traffic to be routed through the United States, right, just to consume security. Right. And it's not only in security, it's also in applications, so forth. And then,
there's a lot of weird hairpin architectures like that years ago.
So now, there's the next generation of cloud is edge computing, which means let's bring the things that are very good in cloud, right, and the benefits closer to all the users around the globe. So no matter where you are, you can consume your cloud computing benefits, whatever, very close to you, and to reduce the latency and increase user experience.
Similar to how CDNs have evolved as well.
Correct. Right. Just like for example, Netflix is a great example. Right. So they've developed a very robust edge network that allows you to consume your videos very close, and that's why the experience is so
have
good.
you guys done something like that as well?
So that's what I've started with. So in order to drive security, right? Instead of having an on-premise appliance that provides you a great experience because you're local, right? And to put your firewall in AWS and then route all your traffic, no matter where you are, through a long data center, right? Let's take and build a distributed firewall in the edge, allowing you to reduce the latency and drive the services closer to your users in order to have a seamless user experience, okay? No matter if you're in the office or outside the office, right? You open your computer, you're routed to our closest location. So today we have about 40 different POPs, point of presence, okay? So we have a very good coverage worldwide, no matter where you are. In Australia, in the US, we have 10. In Canada, South America, whatever, you drive it locally, and this is what basically allowed to have that jump, right? Previously, if you think about in the past, I'll give you a strong example. I remember when I was a child and I wanted to download a large file or a movie, I needed to go to my father worked at a university. They always had the fast internet and the best of grade. The internet invented in the university. So I went there in order to download the file, right? And that basically was also security, was driven by the office. If you wanted to be secure, you were in the office, you consumed your services fast because there was physical infrastructure built.
Right.
When you were outside the office and needed to utilize a VPN, then things became slow. The user experience was bad, and still today, right? The VPN business is a $107 billion market today, and still growing. And everybody hates VPNs. Yeah. Right?
Why is that? Like if people are using AnyConnect or something like that, what's the rub right now with VPN? Like as you guys, I'm guessing a lot of your customers probably come to you because they have some frustration there. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Everyone hates VPNs, right? VPN is a bad word. Because of that latency.
Well, is it just that, or is it administrative? Are there other things that you think are issues with VPN?
It depends who you ask, right? And what is the answer you would like to hear. So the IT managers hate to manage it, patch it, deploy it, configure it. That's obvious, right?
Because if it's a non-real-time application, latency may not be the issue. But the words we hear often in our research is clumsy administration and a little bit heavy in terms of the software that needs to be used. It's things like that, very subjective, but very real.
There was many hacks, right? Uber hack, like that was last week, on Friday, that was published, right? All driven by the legacy VPN, the fact that it is a door to your entire network.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow you to segment the network. Doesn't allow you to manage it effectively. Sometimes you need to install different appliances in different locations, which cumbersome the deployment and maintenance and configuration. You make mistakes, and then
like VPN lends to a perimeter model in a sense. I mean that's why they grew together. Yeah. So in a sense with Perimeter 81, the idea is let's focus on edge, let's focus on a more virtual infrastructure. Zero trust might be the word that people would use to describe that.
When you are hardware-based, many things are limited, okay? The deployment, you are limited. You have a sandbox that you can work with. But once you move from hardware to software, right? It gives you lots of tools in order to have a much more unified solution that allows you to have a user-centric security instead of site-centric security. Okay, so it's not the question, it's not what is the policy for the site in Tel Aviv, and everybody that connects to the site in Tel Aviv has the same policy. It's about what is the policy of Amit and what resources I can access, and to have a modern multi-factor authentication, biometric multi-factor authentication, to have a solution that just works, right? Without the complexity of any connect. We talked about the disadvantages and the frustration of IT managers about VPNs, but the entire company, the entire employees are aiding VPNs because they have the productivity. It doesn't work most of the time.
Right. Let's take an example. Let's say it was a small bank or something, has VPN and maybe have a couple of branch offices and people working from home and suppliers and so on. They've got a whole big thing.
Right.
When they come to you, what's the experience like of sort of replacing their legacy with your platform? Walk us through a little bit of that. What's that like?
So one of the advantages of SaaS in Print21 specifically is the ease of use and ease of implementation. We allow any company to migrate over to us in a gradual process. It's not a rip and replace, but we integrate to your existing.
That makes sense.
Your infrastructure, allowing you to start and offload your users to us, right? The process is seamless, and sometimes it's being done very, very quickly. For example, when COVID started, everyone got panicked.
Right.
And we had implementation sessions of 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, we onboarded a customer and implemented it. Like, we walked around the clock, 15 minutes, and we succeeded in that. So you can think about like implementing Outlook email, right? You need to update few records and things like that, but once you do that, it simply
From a
works.
customer perspective, so they would engage with you to understand what's going on, do some planning, do the cutover, and then they probably have to do some communication to the company,
Correct.
maybe some training. So,
Yeah.
so it is a process, but your portion of it, the actual deployment, very straightforward.
Very straightforward.
That's good.
You need to connect your identity provider. We have integration
Yeah.
to Okta, Active
Google,
Directory, Google,
yeah.
any SAML 2.0,
That's good.
because we're identity-centric.
Right.
But we always say that we'll move to people-centric security from site-centric security, so it's all around the identity.
Mhm.
Then you need to build a network in Print21, which is few clicks. Basically select where you have employees, and boom, you have a network. Now you can start and connect your resources, your cloud, your on-premise. That's relatively straightforward, but that's what we're talking about here. It's a complete 100% software solution that has a complete integration to all your existing environments. And it allows you to migrate from an on-premise based architecture to a software-based, cloud edge delivered SaaS solution very easily and quickly.
Now you mentioned earlier, almost 3,000 customers. That's incredible. Is it range of sizes and shapes and everything but the kitchen sink
I have
kind of
customers
thing?
from all different sizes.
Yeah.
Of course, we have more like the medium-sized companies.
Yeah, I would think
because
they'd be a sweet spot.
because they're much more modern
Yeah.
in the way, right? But we
Born
have
in the cloud,
born in
sort
the
of.
cloud, but we have lots of financial services,
Right.
tech companies, retail, all different segments and shapes. And that's also something that puts us in a very strong position, the fact that we have so many point of views,
Right.
And in order to understand and correlate, how does a secure corporate over the internet needs to look like?
That's interesting.
And we have a one principle that we work according, is having a platform that has a single management console,
Yeah.
where the IT manager goes and have a complete configuration visibility to what's happening in the
Right,
network.
that's helpful.
A single network that we maintain and operate, so it's completely transparent to our customers, and a single agent that is installed on the managed devices to unify multiple agents and basically tunnel the traffic from the endpoints to our cloud when they're outside the office. And we work to implement more and more use cases based on that architecture, so we are not having two different products for two different use cases. For example, remote access. It's a very strong use case and offering of us. We call it external to internal, but we have also a very strong offering of secure web gateway and internet security, and so on, CASB, and all delivered from the same place. So you as a customer, you don't need to deploy anything or just to tick on the button. We are the bloodstream of the organization as we are the network, and on top of that, we can offer many different use cases and services.
Fantastic. Now, people who want to be in touch with you, do they give you a call on the website? Is that the best way to be in touch?
So you can go to print81.com. We have our team there on a live chat that you can quickly chat and even ask questions or schedule a demo on place, and we'll be happy to do that.
What does a POC look like? Do you do POCs?
We do POCs, correct. POC is about 2 weeks that we work with our teams in order to plan your objectives, your use case, how can we be helpful, we give you free access to your to Perimeter 81. We work with you, we show you the value, and then you decide and whether to continue with us or not. But this is straightforward. We have most of our customers even don't go the route of POC. They want, let me buy 10, 20 licenses, and we offer that, right?
Yeah.
I'll test it. I will work myself because
That's
it's
sort
so
of like
easy,
a POC in a sense.
and then they expand.
So let's see, based on our video today, let's see how many of those you get. We'll have to keep track. I hope you get lots and lots and lots of people calling and using it. I think it's a wonderful tool. I want, on behalf of my team and all the folks watching, I want to thank you for coming by and sharing with us today. It was really quite fun chatting.
Thank you so much.
Good. And for everyone else watching, we'll see you next time.